told my parents they were no longer a part of my life, and if they wanted to keep seeing my ex-husband and the kids from that marriage, they could. But tell me honestly, would you have done the same thing if you were in my place? I married Daniel when I was 25. He already had 2 kids, Emma and Noah. They were 4 and 6 when we got married. Their biological mother had disappeared from their lives years earlier, so I stepped in. And I didn't think of myself as their stepmom. I thought of myself as their mom. I packed their lunches. I helped with homework. I sat through school plays and soccer games. I was there when Noah learned how to ride a bike, and I spent an entire Saturday helping Emma practice for her first dance recital. Daniel's parents loved me. My parents loved Daniel. Our families had been close for years, long before Daniel and I ever got married. So when my marriage started falling apart, I wasn't just losing my husband. I was losing an entire family. I found out Daniel was cheating in February. I found a hotel receipt in his jacket. The date was a Tuesday. He had told me he was working late. When I confronted him, he barely denied it. He said he'd been unhappy for months. He blamed me for being distant, but it wasn't one mistake. It had been going on for months. There was a woman from his office named Lauren, too. Told my parents I was filing for divorce. My mom's first question wasn't, "Are you okay?" It was, "What about Emma and Noah?" My dad told me I couldn't just walk away from the children. I remember standing in my parents' kitchen thinking they were right about one thing. I loved those kids, but somehow nobody seemed to understand that loving them didn't mean I had to stay married to a man who betrayed me. I told my parents that I would always care about Emma and Noah, but I couldn't continue living in that house and pretending everything was normal. My dad called me selfish. My mom said I was destroying a family, and then my dad said something I'll never forget. He told me that a good mother doesn't abandon her children. I looked at him and said, "They aren't legally my children, Dad." You all reminded me of that every time it was convenient. He didn't answer. The divorce was finalized a few months later. Daniel kept the house. I moved 4 hours away for a new job. I rented a tiny apartment, started going to a new gym, and bought groceries at a store where nobody knew who I was. It was lonely, but for the first time in years, it was peaceful. My parents didn't accept my decision. They started sending me pictures of Emma and Noah. Emma at school, Noah playing soccer. Birthday pictures, Christmas pictures. There was never a message, just the photos, like they were trying to make me feel guilty. Eventually, I blocked them. Then they contacted me through my aunt. I blocked her too. For months, nobody heard from me. 2 years passed. Then I met Ryan. He was completely different from Daniel. He didn't care about my past. He didn't judge me for the divorce. He didn't make me prove that I was worthy of being loved. We got married last year. And 3 months ago, we had our daughter, Lily. She was perfect. Tiny hands, big eyes. And the moment I held her, I realized I had finally built the family I'd always wanted. I hadn't spoken to my parents in almost 3 years. Then one afternoon, an unknown number called. It was my mom. She told me she'd heard I had a baby. She said she and my dad wanted to meet their granddaughter. I asked her, "What about Emma and Noah?" She went silent. Then she said, "This is different." I asked why. She said, "Because Lily is our real grandchild. She's our blood." Something inside me just went cold. I told her, "You already had grandchildren." Then I hung up. 2 weeks later, someone knocked on our door. Ryan answered. My parents were standing outside. My mom was holding a stuffed rabbit. My dad had his hands in his pockets. They had driven 4 hours just to see my daughter. Asked how they found my address. My aunt had given it to them. Then I asked the question I already knew the answer to. What happened to Emma and Noah? My mom started crying. That's when I found out Daniel had remarried. His new wife didn't want Emma and Noah having a relationship with my parents, so they hadn't seen the kids in almost a year. My parents had lost access to the grandchildren they had chosen over me. And suddenly, they remembered they had another grandchild, mine. I stood there on my porch and told them, "You made your choice a long time ago. You chose Daniel's family. You chose those kids over your own daughter. So go fix that relationship. But you're not going to use my daughter as your second chance." My mom cried and said I was punishing them. I told her, "No, I'm protecting my family." Then I closed the door. Ryan stood beside me. Upstairs, Lily was sleeping peacefully. And for the first time, I didn't feel guilty. I felt free. My parents made their choice years ago. I was just finally choosing myself. Would you have closed that door too? Or given your parents one more chance?